I own 147 properties. Okay. I left school at 15 as my stepdad was really bad with domestic violence in our household. And he was like the biggest bully in the entire world you ever met. This guy was. He was vile. He was such a horrible human being. And when I left school at 15, I got to move in with my nanny Brenda. Best part of the story, just to end that shit. I met him when I was 32 years old, 8 years ago. And let's just put it this way. He got his comeuppance finally. He took a long time. And it took a lot of me to like try and turn things down. But 8 years ago, I bumped into him. And I finally got my revenge, because some say you shouldn't hold a grudge. I held a grudge for a very long time, and he knew about it. And when I got hold of him, it was a relief. But I left because I was in a position that I didn't want to be in. He started to look after me, Sean did. The reason I'm standing on this stage is because of that guy, Sean Finn. If it wasn't for him, I'm not here today. 18 months into my journey in the law firm, I basically took over the whole law firm. I was running the entire law firm in 18 months, which is really difficult to believe. You have to be there to understand it, because you're like, how can you run this stuff? I left school at 15 years old if it's a person's circumstances. I didn't leave school because I was a massive difference. So I took over this whole law firm, and I was running all these solicitors, and I was doing all this kind of crazy stuff, and it was like a film. It's a bit like that Sue's character, where he went in and he done that thing, and then like he was running it, but he's obviously, that's a film. This was my real life. When you win like medical negligence cases, the payoff is, it's big. You know, if you're dealing with big cases. So the payoff's just like 2 million, 3 million in compensation, which meant that we would get disbursements and stuff of like 150 grand, 300 grand. You know, one case we got 1.4 million. So I was able to buy a 2-bedroom terrace house in the area I was from for £48,000 in July 2014. I bought it, completed it, and then like a month later I met Isabella. Didn't know about refinance, didn't know about mortgages, didn't know none of that nonsense. I just bought a house for 48 grand with stamp and legals and everything. Didn't know what stamp duty was, didn't know what legals cost or anything to do conveyancing, because I was in a different entity. And then the next thing I know, I got the bug, because when I've rented it out for 600 quid, I spoke to a doctor, a guy called Dr. Prasad, who is still around me to this day. He's still like really big part of my life. And he said to me, why have you just paid 48 grand for that house? You could open up a limited company today and move out a mortgage tomorrow. It doesn't go on the company, it goes on the asset. And I was like, so I don't need no hay slips, I don't need any sort of stuff I hear people talk about. He's like, no. That was the light bulb conversation. And now I'm booked in like Wolverhampton, Kettering, Milton Keynes, places like that. And we've got up to 147 now, and we're very comfortable. And out of them 147 properties, I have HMOs, commercial buildings, buy-to-lets, multi-blocks, flats and apartments. I have 62 supported living contracts. Now, I'm not going to ask you what your salary is, but whatever you earn a year, I probably make in a week. Probably. I don't know these ads, but I'm pretty sure. Solicitors, I know what your salaries are. I probably make that in a week as well. So what's your job?
Mortgage broker.
You're a mortgage broker. I own a mortgage company. I actually own one. I know what your job is. What's your job?
I do engineering.
Okay, what's your job?
It's excuses.
What's your job?
I'm a
Social worker. Job on the table. Carpenter. What would you do in this room right now if I gave you £100,000? I gave you 100 grand tax free, put it into your bank account now, what would you do? Right this second. Someone answer? Crypto. Okay? Invest in property. Stocks. You full of shit, all of you. I hate to say it, you're all fucking talking bollocks. Because, you know, the second it arrives, you will go and treat yourself. Guaranteed. All the things that you've always wanted to buy, you will go and buy. You've always wanted a Chanel handbag. 6 grand. Buy it. You've never had it. You put your hands up and said, I've never had 100 grand in my bank account. I'm telling you what the fuck happens when you get it. You live out your dreams to an extent. You can make anything from 3 grand to, we make 6 figures a month from deal sourcing. So you can make anything you want to make. Yes, I'm on social media and I use it massively. I fucking hate it. This is the truth. I cannot stand it. If I could switch my social media off tomorrow, I would do it in a heartbeat. But you know how much money I earn for it? It's endless. If you're brand new and someone asks you to do a podcast, no one's ever going to ask you anything that can discredit you or put you in a bad position. You know, when you become a key person of influence in an industry or you become a name, you've got to remember that these podcasts that you might go and do, they need views, they need X, Y, and Z. So your brain has to be on point at all times. You've always got to look at the level of the podcast and what they're going to gain from you and what you're going to gain from them.